Alright, so we're going to go through the quiz first. So these are expanding, and what we have to notice straight away is that this does not have equals. So if you solve and it doesn't have an equal sign, then you're wrong. So the first step is always to expand or factorize, and then the next one would be to solve. We can't solve because there's no equals. So I'm going to write here, do not solve. Now, so expanding this, 2x times 3x is 6x squared, 2x times -4, -8x, 3 times 3x plus 9x, 3 times -4, -12. So our final answer for this one should be 6x squared plus x minus 12. No, nothing more. Next one, x times x squared, x times 7 plus 7x, -7 times x minus 7x, and -7 times 7, -49. Now, if you know the identity, you would know that this is a minus b, a plus b, which factorizes to a squared minus b squared. So when we get rid of these 7x's, because plus 7x minus 7x, that equals 0. So then we end up with x squared minus 49. So you didn't have to do anything there. You could have just written it out straight away. Now these ones were not well done. These are two terms and there's no solving. So when I say it wasn't well done, I'm talking about with the entire year level, not just you guys. So this is not solving. Do not solve. There is no equal sign, so you cannot solve. You need to recognize that there are two terms or three terms. In this, it's two terms. So two terms or three terms. The first one, two terms, and what you always should do in any is to try and take out a common factor. The common factor here is 2x. So we can take out a 2x, leaving us with 2x plus 5. And there's nothing else we can do with that. That's just a simple removing common factor. The next one, we don't have a common factor, we have two terms. So all these ones here have two terms. I'll highlight them with two terms. This, what you have to recognise, again, we can't solve, there's no equal sign. This is a squared minus b squared. And we have to know by now that this factorises to a minus b, a plus b. This is year 9 knowledge. So you would need to identify a, which is going to be 3x, and you identify b, which is going to be 5. So if a squared is 9x squared, a must be the square root of that, which is 3x. And b squared, 25, square root of that is 5. So our answer here is 3x minus 5, 3x plus 5. So difference of perfect squares, that's our answer there. The next one, again, it's difference of perfect squares. This is a squared minus b squared. And again, we factorise a minus b, a plus b. So identify a is x plus 1, and b is 6. So x plus 1 minus 6, x plus 1 plus 6. And then we can just collect like terms, which gives us x minus 5 and x plus 7. We cannot solve. It does not have an equal sign. So I keep on telling people that because people will try and solve it and then you're wrong. It's impossible to solve something if it doesn't have an equal sign. Last one of these, we have a common factor. So we remove a common factor first. So we take out the 2 and we're left with x squared minus 5. Now in here, we've got a squared minus b squared. So if you only took a 2 out, then 0 marks for you. So here a equals x and b equals root 5. So we have a 2 out the front and it's x minus root 5, x plus root 5. So this one is a lot of difference of perfect squares. We cannot solve because they don't have equal signs. And on subsequent quizzes, I'll put more of these so you can keep practicing it. They're important skills for year 12. These are quadratic trinomials. So now we see a situation where we're dealing with 3 terms. So before, I was talking about do we have 2 terms or do we have 3 terms? These are 3 terms as indicated by the fact they're trinomials. But I mean, realistically, in a real test, they wouldn't tell you that they're quadratic trinomials. It would just tell you to factorize them. It does not say equals 0, so you do not solve. it's really important that you can recognize that. This is x times x, and then our factors of 20, let's say 10 times 2, because 2 times x is 2x, x times 10 is 10x, and 2x plus 10x is 12x, and that will give us our brackets. So within the brackets, of course, we're going to be putting horizontal ways. So we have x plus 10 and x plus 2. So definitely no further than that, or you get it wrong. The next one, same idea. We've got x times x, and notice I always will use the cross factorization method, and let's say negative 5 times 3. 3 times x is 3x, and x times negative 5 is negative 5x, so that's going to give us negative 2x, which, yes, is the middle term, and we always do that little check. It saves you making a silly mistake. X minus 5, x plus 3 for that one there. Okay, so 3 terms, quadratic trinomials. Here it tells us it's a non-monic. Non-monic, all that means is that there is a number in front of the x squared, and it's no big deal. If you can take a common factor out, you would, but here there's no common factor in 6x squared, x, and negative 15. The common factor would have to be common to everything, and there is none. So I'm going to do, let's do trial and error. We'll do 3x and 2x, and let's do 5 and neg 3. Let's see how that works. 3x times negative 3 is negative 9x, and 2x times 5 is 10x. And indeed that is the right one, because negative 9 plus 10 would be 1, so this would be 1x or just x. So remember, we're trying to get the middle term, and by doing this cross factorization and doing the check at the bottom, you save yourself making a silly mistake, especially when you've got a non-monic quadratic trinomial. Now here is really important that you take your terms this way. So it's 3x plus 5. Oops, doesn't look very good. So definitely not 3x minus 3. That gives you a different equation to the one we've got. So it's really important that you do your factorization and then you choose your terms appropriately. All right, so there, that's factorized. We do not solve because there's no equals. So do not solve. We're not solving for x. We can only solve for x or any variable when we have a equals 0, equals y, whatever it might be. Now, completing the square. This should be pretty easy because we did it last time in a lot of detail. So we complete the square. We take the first 2 terms, and the reason we have to complete the square is because the factors of negative 1 and x squared will never add up to 4x, so we cannot factorize it in another way. So we have x squared. Oh, I think
because the red box over it.
Because what?
The red line.
That's alright, that's big. Alright, we just have to wait a minute. My thing is loading. Might have to reopen. Oh, I think because it's saving. Alright, my thing's frozen. We might come back and do the rest of those afterwards. What we'll do in the meantime is we will go and do our other learning, and then we'll come back and